Welcome back, gang. It's Deltia from Deltia's Gaming, and we're talking Sorcerer. Yes, the Sorcerer change, specifically a lot of Stam Sorc changes. Really detailed information. Some things have changed over the PTS, making Stam Sorcs really, really cool once again. And I'm here to explain why and talk about the changes. In general terms, basically what it is has very few stamina-based abilities, but it has a lot of really unique passives, making it very high in recovery, max stamina, and weapon damage. And so let me explain the background of the Stam Sorc if you don't know. And then we're going to go over the changes. So some of these passives, to give you an idea, reduce stamina cost by 5% right there, and magic. That's huge. Daedric Summoning, having a Daedric ability slotted increases your stamina by 20%. That's huge. Storm Calling, we're going to get to the major change, but just so you know, Expert Mage, increasing spell damage and weapon damage for a sorcerer ability slotted, including your ultimate. This is higher than any class. You can see 8% value. Stamina Templars get 6%, but the most max stamina you could have and weapon damage is on a Stam Sorc. Specifically, if you use Bound Armaments, increases your max stamina by 8%. Downside is it doesn't have a lot of stamina abilities, so every other class benefits from a stamina morph on their main nuke. Sorc's main nukes, crystal shards. So right here we take this, almost everyone uses crystal frags. Crystal blast here is still a magic ability, useless. I would really like to see this be a stamina change. But regardless, the stamina abilities that you do have are pretty powerful. So we have Bound Armaments, but Hurricane, this is the new change that's fantastic. It does physical damage every second for 15 seconds. The thing about it that's really cool, visually and damage-wise, it increases up to 225% and up to 9 meters. It also gives you Minor Expedition, which looks like a bad thing, but it might not be, and let me explain here a little bit. Plus physical and spell resistance. Okay, that's a lot of good juicy buffs here. Also, it has a chance to proc this new passive, Implosion, which is physical damage, gives you a 6% to instantly pulverize enemies that are 15% below health to just do a bang physical damage 14k. That is affected by Battle Spirit in PvP. So, Hurricane, let's look at it. Oh my gosh, is that not cool? Now it grows in size about 3 times for 15 seconds, and you can see it, and it makes that little sound, and it just looks super cool. And so you, like I said, you get a lot of juicy buffs with this. Now you can combine this with retreating maneuvers and an orc sprint speed with all medium armor, and it looks like you're hacking if you're just running around. So Implosion, that's a really powerful change. Hurricane's a powerful change, but Crit Surge went under a massive change as well. So it got nerfed, but it's not that big of a nerf. Increases your weapon damage, we know about this. Critical strikes heal you for 3k health. That 3k health is a flat number. It can only occur once every 1 second. So it's a flat number, which is important. Now, when I tested this a week ago, it could not crit. ZOS fixed it this week, so it can crit. This number is affected by Battle Spirit. So in PvP, it's going to be less. But the fact that it can crit now makes this still very useful. Because before it was hitting for 1500 because Battle Spirit halves your healing, making it basically just a weak rally. But now that it can crit, and now that it's affected by champion points, quick recovery, increased healing effectiveness, it's still very useful. So I'm really excited about this change. Another really cool change that the Sorc underwent is Absorption Field or Negate. So 2 morphs now, and now players are not stunned, but they're silenced. The thing that changed here is that you cannot break the CC anymore. So usually if a negate goes on top of you as a player in PvP or in PvE for that matter, you just hit CC break or break free, and then you're no longer silenced. So this is no longer the case. You have to get out of the circle. Now we did test this, and you can still do a counter negate in PvP. So someone outside of the circle can cast a negate over yours and cancel the effect out. But you have 2 interesting morphs. One, Absorption Field, which heals. Now it affects you and your allies, and it heals 0.5 seconds, every 0.5 seconds. That's really important because it adds up that it heals twice every 2 seconds. This can crit. It's affected by Battle Spirit. You can also increase this, and the other morph does magic damage. So on a Stam build, I highly recommend to run the heal one because you're not going to get a whole lot of damage in the way that Suppression Field changes. But it's really, really powerful now that you cannot CC break out of it, making the Sorc negate monkeys make a major comeback. Really excited about this change. So as far as the PvE Sorc goes, you're pretty much going to run the standard build that most everyone runs right now, which is dual-wield bow. A lot of the things you're going to be doing is rapid strikes, which changed. So now it hits for very hard 0.6 seconds, allowing you to apply a lot of dots. What dots are you going to apply? Well, you're going to want to do Rending Slash here. Does a lot of damage. You're also going to run Trap Beast, Rearming Trap here, which is now physical damage. And you're also going to run Poison Injection, Endless Haul. So Stam Sorcs, it's a little bit homogenized with some of the other builds that you're going to be using dual wield, rapid strikes, and then just applying your dots. But it does a lot of damage. And the added benefit with the Stam Sorcs here to your Hurricane and using Deadly Cloak, making them pretty much the AoE powerhouse in the game right now. PvP, you can also throw in some really cool speed with Streak, Major and Minor Expedition, making them super fast. What about the Magic Sorc? Well, I don't like Magic Sorc anymore, and the reason why is most of their damage comes from Energy Overload or Power Overload. And so with Energy Overload, just like usual, you do shock damage to them. It depletes your ultimate. So this is pretty much the only ultimate that you can go past the 64 ultimate cost or whatever it costs. So the meta right now is just to load up on a lot of Sorc abilities to increase your spell damage, max magic, and then just blast away with 1,000 ultimate. I really don't like that gameplay. I think the Magic Sorc really needs an overhaul because it's just not that fun for me in comparison to other classes. However, if you're going to run a Magic Sorc, you're still going to do the same old effective thing. Liquid Lightning, Elemental Blockade here in the Destruction Staff skill line. You're going to use Force Pulse as your main nuke, Elemental Blockade. You're probably going to want to run Pulsar, because that will proc Narayaneth as well. You're going to want to run 5 pieces of either Julianos or the other set that comes in Imperial City. The set I'm talking about is Scathing Mage, which gives you more spell damage every time you crit. The thing about running Narayaneth here is 10% chance when causing damage to proc this Lich. So 10% chance, if you Force Pulse, guess what? That's 3 attacks in 1. So that's why it's optimal to run that, because your Force Pulse can proc Scathing Mage and or Narayaneth at the same time, trying to keep both those buffs up as long as you possibly can. So that's where the Magic Sorc is. I really don't like the gameplay because it's just not that fun to save up 1,000 ultimate and then just overload. But there's a lot of other players that play it effectively. A lot of Sorcs are having a problem with the new shield change, and essentially the duration of these shields are 6 seconds, cut back from 20 or so depending on which morph and which ability you take. So Healing Ward, Hardened Ward, Harness Magicka. Okay, what's my take on this? I think 6 seconds is a bit harsh. I think it should be around 10. And the reason why is you're still going to have to keep this shield up and react while you're taking damage and recast it often. But 6 seconds, it feels like it's really vulnerable, the Magic Sorc anyways, to taking damage. And that's pretty much their main mean survivability. Especially since Harness Magicka and Hardened Ward pretty much do the same thing now. And the Sorc shield stacking of old might be nerfed to oblivion. Considering that other classes have some other way to survive, using Puncturing Sleeps as a Magic Templar, Funnel Health as a Magic Nightblade. Magic Dragonites have plenty of self-healing with Burning Embers, Deep Breath, or Inhale and all. So I don't like this change. I think it should be about 10 seconds to 12, and I don't think you should be able to completely shield stack, but making Hardened Ward your main ability to defend yourself as a Magic Sorc, I really think needs to change. So I'm not too thrilled about it, though I don't play a Magic Sorc as my main. You can also take advantage of some of the other things that Magic Sorcs have, like Crit Surge or Power Surge, the other morph. So you're going to be able to heal, but stacking basically every single thing into max magic, stacking the Bastion, and having just this uber line of defenses with shield is pretty much over. I don't know how this is going to shake out with ZOS and whether they're going to stick to it or change it. If they don't change it, I would like them to see something added to the Sorc's kit to make them still stronger, especially since Crit Surge now it's not based on the damage you do, because beforehand if you hit someone with a 20k frag, guess what, you're getting 40% of that damage that you did back off a crit in terms of health. So you took away the shields, you took away Power Surge's really ability to give you massive healing, and replaced it with, well, nothing. So I don't like that. I think the Magic Sorc needs something in replacement of that to keep themselves alive. But Magic Sorcs will adapt. They'll still use the shield and still be effective, but you're not going to be able to just cast it, walk around for 30 seconds, and then just not die off the top. You're probably going to need to use something like the defensive rune here, and then use your shields as a reactive type of gameplay, not just preemptively having a million of them on there. Still, you're going to use mines and case and some of those other things. So hopefully they get something added to stamina-based abilities as a main nuke, and hopefully they get something defensive in replacement of the shields. Otherwise, I think that's a massive nerf that really doesn't need to be taken into play, in my opinion. Overall, I'm really excited about the Stam Sorc changes. I think Crit Surge will still be usable. It did take a big hit, but with the added Hurricane, the added AoE damage, and that can proc off a physical plus negate, and a lot of the bag of hit points and stamina that you get just being a Stamina Sorc, it's really cool and interesting. Downside, well, you don't have any main abilities as your main nuke, so I'm really disappointed in that. Magic Sorcs, it's going to be a little bit hard to get used to it without the shield stacking. So I think Zos needs to kind of meet in the middle somewhere on the shields, maybe 10 seconds, or allow some other type of defensive ability to Magic Sorcs, since they basically took away the massive healing from Power Surge and also the massive shield stacking. I don't like the gameplay in PvE for Magic Sorcs. Why? I don't like saving 1,000 ultimate up and just going and clicking my button. It's not very fun. But for PvP, I really, really like Stamina Sorcs. Remember, that's the first character I ever got Emperor on, is my Stam Sorc spinning to winning. So I'm sure you'll see old Donald Crunk and Cyrodiil here very soon, spinning to winning with a cool Vampire Stam Sorc build, so stay tuned for that. One class left to do, and that's the Dragonite, so look for that video coming up soon. And Baby Stamplar Baby D is doing very good. Thank you so much for watching. Please share, subscribe, rate this video, and we'll see you next time.